Welcome to the Relax into Love podcast, the place for spiritual, ambitious women to awaken to divine connection within themselves and their partner and manifest their most desired relationship with joy and ease. I'm Teal Elizabeth, your host, a spiritual love and relationship coach trained in the principles of feminine energy, NLP, and deep subconscious reprogramming. And through this podcast, it is my desire to inspire you on all things dating, relationships, and self-love. Now, on to the show. Welcome, ladies, to the Relax into Love podcast. I'm your host, Teal Elizabeth, and whew, boy, do we have a fun topic to talk about today. If you have been following my journeys at all from the last few months, you will know that all of this stuff with the coronavirus has just thrown my world upside down, definitely, and I'm sure it's probably throwing your world upside down too in its own ways. But yeah, I am back from Bali, here, grounded, settled back down into my lovely home of California, where my sweetheart and I are nestled up in the woods, in the mountains, just kind of quarantining ourselves in a little cabin right now. And honestly, it's been a beautiful time for me to just give some time to just sink in and soak up this moment, this beautiful moment in time for deep reflection and introspection. And there's also something really beautiful about kind of coming back home to the United States and to, just kind of being more in the world of kind of the Western world and the Western mindset, and tapping into the energetics of where we're at right now as a collective consciousness. For many of you I know listening, this is something that you have probably been swept up into the chaos, the panic, the craziness, I think especially that's been coming through the Western world, after coming in from China. And it's something that as I'm here tapping into this energy frequency, I can really sense a shift starting to happen. And I want to really talk today about how we really move through this time, especially when dating, and bringing it back full circle, back into relationships. I know the last few episodes have been a lot about kind of interpersonal self-work, but let's really bring this back out into dating and recognizing that we are in a time right now that is completely uncharted, completely unprecedented, and social distancing and quarantining is our reality at this current moment. And how do we actually maintain relationships with men? How do we go out and continue dating, continue to, still feel like we have an opportunity to thrive in our love life when the outside world is telling us we need to basically close down, lock down, and stay put? For any of you who are single in this moment and are just questioning how to best continue dating or, wanting to be in a relationship but not feeling like there's any possibility. Or for any of you who are maybe in a relationship but are not moved in together and are having to kind of do the quote unquote long distance thing now, this episode's really going to be for you. And I really just want to hone in and touch base on this feeling and ground into this and give you some actionable things that you can do right now to start shifting how you approach your relationships and your love life, and also help kind of shift your mindset. One of the things that I think is really, really powerful and really important is continuing to check in on the narrative that we're telling ourselves in every moment. And this applies not just when we're all in a quarantine lockdown, but also just in everyday life of how am I really choosing to see my life and what is the story that I'm telling myself? It can be very, very easy in moments like this to get into a place of victimhood where we find ourselves recognizing, oh my God, all these things are happening and I can't do this and this isn't letting me do this and now I can't do this. And it can get into this place of feeling very victimized. And when we start telling ourselves that kind of story, it's very easy for our mind chatter to just take over and for our fears and our anxiety to take over. And that's when we just get into this like downward spiral of just like feeling depressed, feeling blah, feeling numb, just feeling completely unmotivated to do anything. And while it is okay to have these feelings, it's really important to not stay stuck in those feelings, okay? Right? Like we all, myself included, have gone through that wave of feelings of just like, wow, what's the point? What's the point? Why am I here? What's going on? Can't control the future. Just want to sit here on the couch and binge on Netflix. But we have to be able to honor those feelings, but we also have to make sure that we are moving through those feelings so we're not letting that consume our life for the long term. So the first thing is really talking about this narrative and the story that we're telling ourselves in how we are choosing to approach this situation right now. So there are two ways that we can really approach this time right now. If you are in lockdown and you are in a place where you're not in a committed long-term relationship, we can either see it as being a victim to this situation of, well, this just sucks and I guess I'm just going to be single, and I guess, there's no point to go out and try and date because we can't see each other, kind of going into that kind of narrative. And there's also the opportunity to shift and completely flip this on its head and look at it in a completely different way. And that's what I really want to offer to you right now as a first kind of step in this, is really starting to ask yourself, how can I choose to shift this narrative, shift this story that I've been telling myself, maybe that I've been telling other people when they ask me how I'm doing, and start to see it for the positive silver lining that it is. So I want to give you a second right now to just think about that for your life right now when it comes to relationships and dating and this whole thing. If it wasn't this whole huge catastrophe of not being able to date, not being able to feel connected, not, feeling alone, feeling isolated, how could this actually be a silver lining for you? So I'm just going to give you a second to just think about that. Beautiful, beautiful. And you can pause this and take some time to really journal and reflect on it. But it's something that I think is really important to recognize, is how am I able to shift the narrative that I'm telling myself to actually start looking at this in a positive light? Because here's what happens. When we shift out of a negative thinking pattern, we actually start seeing our reality from an entirely different way. When we're thinking and seeing the narrative that we're telling ourselves in a negative thinking pattern, what happens is we are basically blocking out all other things that do not validate that story and do not serve the purpose of the narrative that we are seeing. And so what ends up happening is we end up attracting in more of those kinds of experiences to validate that kind of story that we're telling ourselves. And I'm totally serious about this. Like, this is so proven that it's like attracts like. It's all about the law of attraction here in energetics when it comes to our thoughts becoming our realities. So when you are seeing life as being this just really shitty moment that is just basically taking your power away and not giving you the opportunities that you used to have, and not being able to be, the way that you used to be around men and dating and flirting, going out to bars or whatever it is that you do to attract men, that is what you're going to continue to attract. You're going to continue to attract just blah, just nothing, just feelings of dullness and lack of motivation. And if you are out there and maybe you're doing the online dating thing, but you're coming at it from that approach, you're going to find yourself attracting men that are validating that kind of experience, men that are just really not kind of giving you what you're wanting. You're not finding those men that are really high caliber because you're not programming and conditioning yourself to actually look for them and see them for who they are and where they're at. Right? It's like really like imagining yourself as like having these blinders on and only seeing what's below you on the blinders. So in the same kind of way, we can completely shift this and turn it on its head and look at it from an entirely different perspective. And like, as I'm doing this, I'm literally like shifting my vision of where I'm looking and looking from the left over to the right. And completely, I want you to do this too. Like, shift your head and think about this from an entirely different perspective. Let's flip it on its head and say, okay, this is the situation as it stands. So how can I really see this from a different perspective? What is this really enabling me to do? How can I really actually make the most of this moment in time? Yes, it is uncertain. Yes, there is no understanding of when this quarantine is going to be over, when I can actually get back out there and meet people. But what can I do in this moment right now to be able to continue to cultivate my relationships and cultivate my love life? And so what I would offer to you right now is that this is a really, really beautiful time for a few things. Number one, for a lot of self-reflection and introspection. And if you know anything about me, this is like my jam. I absolutely love reflection and introspection, and really taking the time to go deep into meditation, deep into journaling, deep into questioning and asking yourself the harder questions that maybe you've been avoiding asking yourself in the past. Because when we do this, this is really our time to be able to uncover and understand the deeper levels of our subconscious. And I will give you a brand new news flash in case you haven't heard this already. Your subconscious is what's running your life. Okay? The thoughts and the feelings and the beliefs that you have hiding underneath the mind, deep buried in your subconscious from your experiences, from your past, from your culmination of the family and friends that you've surrounded yourself with, all of those things are feeding your subconscious with beliefs and fears and ideas about what's possible. And when we do not take the time to become very aware of what those beliefs and feelings and stories are, then we are subconsciously letting them run the show and dictate our stories and our narratives that we're seeing in the world. And that's what we then attract in our life, in the world, okay? So this is a time right now to say, okay, I've got the next month to really start to go deep, to reflect on what are these deeper stories? What are these deeper narratives? What are these deeper fears and beliefs that maybe I haven't ever really looked at? What are they saying? And what are they telling me that is possible or not possible for my life and for my love life? So that's number one, is really taking some time during this next beautiful 30-day time period to really start to do some deeper introspection and reflection. And maybe it's time for me to actually start pivoting in the way that I show up so that I can have different results with men. So for many of you that are, kind of exploring this world of feminine energy, this is a big part of this, is really starting to recognize, how much have you been operating in your masculine energy when you've been dating? How much have you been caught up in your mind trying to plan and strategize and control the situation of relationships and move the relationship down the quote unquote relationship timeline to try and get what you want and then have it just completely blow up in your face, right? If this is something that you've been noticing has been in your experience, this is an opportunity for you to start actually diving into more of the world of feminine energy and really start to explore, how can I start shifting and tapping into a different essence of who I am so that I can actually start having different results with men. And that takes some time to actually learn these tools and actually be able to practice on your friends, on your family, before you get into your next relationship, so that you can actually, when you get into your next relationship, can feel really confident about it and where it's going. So this is the next opportunity. First, reflection. Second, really starting to learn the tools and techniques of how to tap into your feminine energy so that you can start shifting your results with men. So when the quarantine time is over, you feel equipped and prepared to go out there in the world and really just have a different result.
So I want to take a second to pause this podcast and talk to you a little bit about the Ladies Love Lounge. The Ladies Love Lounge has become the #1 online community for self-love, self-confidence, and feminine energy, helping to transform women from the inside out so that they can truly relax into love, both with themselves and with all the relationships in their lives. And this was formed as a result of me seeing and hearing so many women just feel lost and alone and confused in their experience and desperately needing guidance, but not knowing or trusting who to go to where they could feel safe and held. Because there's no rule book for love, right? And most of us haven't had the best role models to show us how to be in a healthy relationship. So that's what I want to be here for you. It is my intention to create a space for you to feel held and emotionally supported and guided as you navigate this world of love for yourself. Through this membership, you have access to an online community of women just like you that are all on a deep journey of self-love and self-growth so that they can deepen intimacy with themselves and with their partner and manifest that healthy, long-lasting relationship. Through this membership, you have access to all of my content and course materials, meditations, quizzes, workbooks, as well as weekly live stream Q&A support from me and monthly group coaching calls. This is something that I wish I had when I was starting out, and I wish that I had something that was accessible, because a lot of times there are coaches out there that come at a very high cost, and this is something I wanted to make accessible to any woman and every woman that needs it and wants it. So if this is something you're interested in exploring and having my guidance and support on an ongoing basis from now until the day you say I do, then I want you to click the link in the show notes and join us. And as an extra incentive, I want to give you a 7-day money-back guarantee, because I know that once you're in here, you're not going to want to leave. But if you have any hesitations, you can always just send me an email and I am happy to refund your first month for free. I can't wait for you to come play in the magic of the possibilities. Now, back to the show.
And then the third thing that I want to offer is around online dating. And although maybe some of you have done the online dating thing and you're kind of jaded by it, or maybe others of you haven't done it, but you're just kind of like, not sure if you want to get started on it. Either way, I highly encourage you to take another chance, take another stab at it, and get back out there into the online dating world, because this is the time more than ever where all the single men, all the bachelors, all of the incredible, beautiful men that maybe in the past hadn't actually done the online dating thing, they're going online because that's the only place where they can actually connect, right? So think about that. Even if you've done dating in the past, online dating in the past, and you felt like, oh, there's no good men out there, 1, check your narrative, right? 2, there's going to be a different kind of pool of men out there right now than there were in the past. And these men, very much like you, are longing for connection. They're longing for intimacy. They're longing for having that kind of companionship and partnership with someone that they can connect with during this time. Because although you may be feeling alone right now and isolated, they too are feeling alone and isolated. So this is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for something even more magical to come forward if you choose to see it in that light, okay? That's the biggest thing, if you choose to see it in this light. And I talk a lot about, really stepping into the woman that you want to become and how that can really shift the type of men that you see and the men that you actually attract. And so that's what I really want to kind of like bring into this whole conversation, is asking you, who is the woman that you really get to step into being in this moment? And for these men that you get to entertain in this time of online dating, when this is all that we have right now in terms of connection, who do you really get to step into becoming? To be able to connect with an entirely different caliber of man. And this is something that I really go deep with within the Attraction Academy. And I want to actually let you know that this is something I'm opening up the next round of enrollment for the Attraction Academy. And this is something that is so incredibly powerful, is helping women to truly step into being that highest value, highest version, feminine goddess that you really are deep inside, so that you can start attracting an entirely different caliber of man into your experience. And I'm opening up this new program of the Attraction Academy right now in April of 2020, because this is the time right now, I think more than ever, when I can see that each of you are definitely seeking and needing more support, more encouragement, more just tools and ways of navigating through this very, very confusing, uncharted time. And I feel so confident in knowing how to really help guide you through this craziness, because it's all the same elements, no matter what it is, what time frame we are in, whether we're in a quarantine or not, the elements are the same. It comes down to really getting clear on who you are, how you're showing up in relationships, and how you get to start stepping into this higher essence of yourself and clearing away the stories and the narratives that are not serving you, so that you can actually have the kind of relationship that you want and start attracting a different caliber of man. So if this is something that you are curious about and want to see if this program is a good fit for you, I'm going to be leaving a link down below this in the show notes to schedule a time to talk with me, and just get on a free 30-minute call, and we can kind of just get to know each other, and I can give you more details about what this program's all about and how it works. But I tell you, every single woman I've taken through this program, I've been running it for over 2 years now, has had such incredible results. I literally just got a message from a woman yesterday, out of the blue, and she's like, Teal, you won't believe it. Literally, the man that I had put on my vision with you when we had done this work together, I have attracted into my life. And he is everything and more than I ever could have imagined. And I really feel like he's the one. And I feel so excited and empowered to know that through our work together, I've been able to attract this into my life. And I swear, like, getting this message, every time I get these messages, it just like lights me up inside so much, because I know that this works. This really, really, really works. And if you are feeling downhearted, I don't even know if that's a word, downhearted, downtrodden, disheartened, or just kind of blah or numb or unmotivated, like, I am here to give you that loving kick in the pants and saying, no, this is not the time to be feeling bad about yourself or feeling like the world's going to end or feeling like you're going to be alone forever. Like, no, this is just about shifting into a different mindset, okay? Shifting into a different mindset, into a different heart set around how you choose to approach this time in relationships. And I am here for you, and I've got you, and I have a proven 6-step method to help take you from where you're at to where you want to be. And I will take you on this journey and help you get into that relationship of your dreams. And I cannot say this enough. Like, I could not talk about this if I didn't 110% believe that it was possible. And I'm able to speak about this with such confidence because I've done it for myself and I've done it for so many women already. So if this is something that you're feeling like, damn, I'm ready. I'm ready for a shift. I have the time now because I've got some extra space and, I'm at home. I've got the time to reflect. Like, this is the calling, babe. This is the calling for you to really step into this place for yourself and do the deeper inner work, right? And have me there in real time, there with you, saying, hey, I've got you. I'm here for you. I'm here to help clear through anything that's keeping you stuck, making you feel like, any sort of resistance or feeling just sadness around any of this, and get you into a place of feeling empowered and inspired and excited about what is possible. I swear to you, this is such a beautiful blessing in disguise if we choose to see it that way. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I want to see all of you guys signing up with links on my calendar so that we can be actually connecting in person, regardless of whether or not you go through this program. I would love to just meet you. I love getting to meet my listeners, getting to join, have you guys join part of my community and really be more, connected to me on a personal level, so I can get to know you and continue to serve and show up and support you in the best way possible. So please take advantage of this time, of this free 30-minute call. And let's really see how we can best move through this time together and really give you the support and guidance that you need. So, leaving you with that for now. Thanks for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Relax Into Love podcast. If you are loving what you're hearing, please, I would love for you to write me a heartfelt review. It means so much for the success of this podcast. And honestly, I love hearing what really hits home for your soul. And the feedback, really, I read every piece of it. So definitely pop me a love note and share this with a friend. Share this with someone who could really use this message today. And let's keep spreading the love. Until next time.